Well, great. Thank you for that, Naveen, once again. And coming to the IT industry, the IT services industry, how big do you think is the IT services industry in India?
Right. So, you've got to make a very clear-cut difference. We as a country, right, we started in late 90s. I remember the NIT's Aptex came about in late 90s. Mid 90s actually, yeah. We're all in school then, I guess, right? So, those things came and, there was this, I got to learn something called computers.
Networking, I think, and
Yes, hardware and all that exactly started, right? And then I remember around end 90s, the buzzword of internet came. Right? So that transformed the industry really well. Right? So, I mean, looking back at that era, right, where around 2002, that industry was around 1% of India's GDP. Today it's 9%. That's massive for a country that is thriving on agriculture, right? Today we are what, $180 billion, IT services economy. But that does not, by the way, consider your captives. IT services that you build products and systems and platforms using technology. You provide technology services for companies, right, for your clients. On the other side is captive as well. That's fairly huge as well. So you're talking about almost 8 to 9% of India's GDP coming from this, and that coming from high knowledge work is massive. It's actually very, very big. Right?
Okay. So what does that put, what stage does that put the industry into? Now we're definitely in the maturing.
Yeah, I look at it as three parts, right? I mean, life is never static. We are always constantly changing. So think about it this way. You start something, you're doing it in a certain way, you want to make yourself efficient, just the way you're doing. Then you do a new thing that makes it, I'm doing something and I'm also doing something new, that's enhancement. And then the third part is, I was doing these two things, I'm doing an entirely different thing now, that's transformation for you. Right? You know what I mean? I mean, just the way how you call a taxi is transformational, Uber is transformational. Right? You know what I mean? Just the way you book a hotel with Airbnb is transformational today. I think IT services has crossed the first hurdle of efficiency very, very well. At scale. At scale, I can provide 100 people for you, for your client. Okay? You need these programmers, these technology specialists, I can provide. That efficiency is done. I think we've also touched upon the enhancement part where we are able to go outside India and set up some more IT services, let's say in Philippines or in China or whatever. We were able to do that. But I think India as a country, India as a IT services economy, right, or a IT services function or a unit has to move in, becoming world leader, has to move into the transformational part. And that's where we are able to do things at scale, but we got to do it with quality now. That's something, looking at this side, right, it's a complex game. I mean, customers come to an IT services company to solve their technology problems, not bank on the customer to give you solutions. Right? The transformation has to happen now. I think that's critical for this thing. I mean, just the scale will work. Labor arbitrage is pretty much gone. What I mean by labor arbitrage is the cost of doing business in India was very cheap. Recruiting someone in the US, let me actually put 4 people in India. Right? It was so cheap. But it's no more true. It's pretty expensive in India now to do business. Right? So people will take the business elsewhere if you don't. That's why a lot of organizations are transitioning to a product/services centric approach. We've got these accelerator products and platforms that will accelerate some of your technology challenges of a client, for example, right? And we also have the consulting arm that will provide, but we got to mature in that, this thing. We've matured, like, to answer your question in one single sentence, we've matured on the efficiency side. We've got a way to go with efficiency and enhancement and the...
So innovation is the next...
Totally. So we can do things at scale, but now quality and differentiation is going to come into play now in the next few years, decade. Yes, absolutely.
Now, how do you think we can go from looking at innovations like AI, machine learning as a partner and not as a threat?
You mean threat to an employee, for example, or an organization? Yeah. So organization, it's a win-win, right? But let's be honest about it. AI and machine learning is still a fluff. Lot of things that you do is data massaging, not artificial intelligence, right? I mean, this is not the forum to go into technical depth of that subject, but fundamentally what I'm saying is repetitive stuff, right, is going to be taken away, pretty much going to be taken away. You can automate a lot of this stuff, with AI, right? And make it self-learning models as well. You could do that. So what that means is it's actually a friend. It's an opportunity for people to move levels up, it's possible. I mean, it's not a complex transition for people to do. I think it's more of an opportunity with all this coming into play rather than being a threat.
So it is actually not a threat. It's just augmenting things the way you work.
Augmenting things, yeah, it's a change. It's an individual change as well. So things that a human intervention would require will come down. That means that what will I do as a human who is doing that job? I have to do something better than what the machine can do or machine today cannot do, right? So you got to upskill yourself, and that's a reality of technology. That's a constant, absolutely.
What do you think are the key challenges of this industry?
Look, if you kind of think about it, right, manpower is a massive challenge. Why I say manpower? I'm not talking about new skill, new people coming into the industry. I'm talking about existing workforce as well. Changing something at scale is always a challenge, right? So systems and processes aren't going to do it. I mean, if you had, say, let's say 2,000 people, and you are I'm going to bring in a system of, upskilling these people. It's not going to work. It's going to come intuitively within yourself, upskilling, self-learning or concepts. That's the biggest challenge in this industry. People don't upskill themselves as fast as the industry in itself changes. Moore's law, for example, spoke about integrated circuits doubling in capacity pretty much in less than 2 years. I think it was 18 months or 20 months. So that's a change that's happening, right? Something that could be done by X will be done by half X. So you will double the capacity is what it means, right? And that's true with IT as well. With technologies changing, that means that what would take you 10x will take you half X, 5x today to do. So what will the other 5x do? That's a big challenge. Upskilling is a big challenge at scale, Yeah.
Interesting. What do you think are the pros and cons of working in this field?
Look, you're always young. Do you watch Silicon Valley? You watch TV? You should watch that. And it's about, the startups in Silicon Valley, right? And you see a lot of these people, we are in season 6, they've grown old. What that means is that this industry, you will remain young. You're always learning, you're constantly thriving, new younger people coming in. That's the advantage of this industry, Weakness, of course, I think skilling is a huge weakness here, Rate of change. I wrote a blog, I guess, on disruption and rate of change, right? The flux that happens in technology, the rate of change is what is constant. What that means is that it's going to constantly accelerate. That rate is going to accelerate. And people are not abreast keeping that. And that's a huge weakness in this industry.
I think, I mean, the way the technology is running, people are definitely going to be left behind.
So for me to implement a new technology skill in a company, it takes me 6 months, 8 months. Let's be honest, you bought a iOS, Apple phone, next year you got a new model. So that's the speed at which things change. And you can't do it top down. Organization cannot inculcate that change. It has to come from within, within individuals, to survive and thrive in this.
So organizations could only facilitate.
Facilitate, absolutely.
You have to adopt.
Yes. So that's why online learning, for example, which is critical, right? Anytime, anywhere learning and so on and so forth. Organizations pretty much can invest to give those tools to individuals, but you got to really upskill yourself as an individual.
So we can take the horse to the water, but the water has to be done by the horse, right? Okay. Now, because of so much happening in the IT, how do you think the startup ecosystem is changing the landscape of the industry?
Yeah. Look, information is common now, isn't it? That means that opportunities are pretty much for everyone. Let's be honest, when Infosys Wipro started, wow, my aim is not to retire like my dad working in a bank for 30 years, work for one of these companies, wow, and then I'll get to travel abroad, right? This is my opportunity. I'm living that cool life, right? Now, the same thing what the Infosys guy did, pretty much a garage guy is your competitor today. You never know, isn't it? I mean, it's about skill. That's because access to data, access to information, access to knowledge is common. That's really what startup has done, right? Legacy companies, legacy anything that is a settled company, Fortune 100, Fortune 50 or Indian IT services or technology companies, whatever it is, or product companies as well, right? You realize that their rate of change or rate of innovation happens because of startups, which is a fantastic thing, you know?
It is shaking up existing business.
Absolutely, absolutely. It obviously is shaking up and it's a very, very good thing, you know? And of course, startups have got today access to assets, financial, easily available. $1 million, you've got a good idea. You know, so it's about upskilling yourself, having that knowledge, and be willing to work hard. You pretty much can compete with any leader in an industry today, right? I mean, you just have to have the will.
Absolutely. Now, talking about manpower, what do you think are the challenges the industry currently faces and what factors need immediate action? So upskilling would one be?
Actually, mostly, and second thing is the cultural dynamics, right? I think you're probably doing a good job doing the soft skilling part of it. Now, even today I'm talking about when we outsource, we do work with vendors and partners today, right? I mean, the language difference, when I say language, I'm not talking about the English language. Just the language difference in terms of expectation language, right? Between a client and the partner, there's a huge disconnect. To be honest with you, okay? So what that means is that the IT services industry works on rock start still. You can't institutionalize or industrialize or make it a factory model that I regulate 100 or bring in 100 people, all of them are going to be at the same, ain't going to work. You know, so skilling people on that, cultural barrier that you have, taking ownership is another thing that's a challenge for the industry as well, right? So you got to come at par with the customer who's going to be working with you, right? Until that happens, you're going to be looked down upon. For you to get quality work and deliver quality stuff, you got to build the next generation of some of the best technology products. If they have to get built in India, you got to play at par, which is a little challenging at this point in time. Yeah.
What is your suggestion? What is your suggestion to mid-career people in the IT industry?
Yeah, look, I think the challenge. I talk to a lot of these guys. I feel they're like 10 years behind. Oh God, what? You can't even hold a conversation with them for 5 minutes, right? And that's a challenge. Self-learning, I don't know where the cutoff is. Pretty much we're better off than our ancestors or our forefathers, but it's no good, right? I mean, if you look at computers, what was rate of change like this, right, is like this. That's the change you're talking about. And if you aren't going to keep yourself abreast, experience means nothing in technology, in IT world today, right? Until you can add super value. I'm just not saying value, you have to add super value to it. That means that you got to be 3 steps better than an entrant who's coming into the industry, right? And that's only going to happen when you do this cycle of learning, unlearning and relearning. Has to happen together. Right? That's I'll tell you, IT services today, if mid-career professionals, right, in IT, so TCS, Infosys, I know people who become account managers. Fundamentally, their role is to bring in new business, not become better technologists. They all started as technologists, but the career is going nowhere. They're becoming fundamentally account managers, pre-sales guys. Not a bad job, but I'm saying that, you got to be abreast. Otherwise, you're going to find alternate careers that has no relevance to what your interests fundamentally lie in and why you got into this industry in the first place.